Hello crafters and welcome to series 2 of P2PCrafts Presents, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft shows. I'm your host Michelle, who is an avid papercraft and mixed media artist and art journalist myself, and I'm the creative director even, at From Picture to Page and Beyond, which is our scrapbooking, mixed media art and papercraft show. Now we've got a whole heap of videos coming up, so to see all the details, head over to our website FromPictureToPageAndBeyond.com.au, where you can sign up to the newsletter to get all the details at the end of the week, and of course all the links to the things that our guests are talking about. Now, whether you're watching here on Facebook Live, and hopefully our internet will hold together with duct tape, or whether you're watching a replay, we'd love to know that you're there. So jump into the comments, say hi, let us know where you're seeing us from. If you've got any questions, pop them in too, and then we'll take it from there. But today, P2PCrafts presents Cathy from Eclectics. Hello, Cathy.
Michelle, and hello everyone. How are we?
We're well, and it looks like our internet is working, so that is good news indeed.
Sigh of relief. That was quite a panic trying to get this happening.
It is always a challenge with this technology. And how is the weather in Ballarat today?
Beautiful. In fact, my wonderful husband is standing blocking a brilliant beam of sunlight that was just going straight across my face. So he's standing there nursing our grandson and blocking the light, which is great.
Oh, excellent. A very multi-talented husband.
Yes, he's usually doing the camera work for our clips and things, but today he's a lighting technician.
Excellent. Well, we're really hoping our connection will hold. So you want to tell us what you're going to do today and perhaps jump straight into it.
Okay, so today when you got me quite interested when you did your presentation on the different ink types, and I've done a similar thing in our Getting Started with Stamping YouTube clip. But in neither of those, there was someone mentioned chalk inks in yours, and I realised that when I did our Getting Started one, I didn't elaborate on the chalk inks. And people were asking questions. I thought, it would be great if we actually did a segment just on the chalk inks, because they're fantastic. They're brilliant to use. Now, there's two different main brands that I know of. There's the Colour Box and the Versamagic. So the one that I normally work with is the Versamagic. I have worked with the Colour Box, but I found that they stained my stamps. They were beautiful colours, but they did stain the clear polymer, whereas the Versamagic does clean off easier. Whether that's relative, because if we use archival inks, we end up staining our stamps anyway. So whether that worries people or not. But anyway, I switched to the Versamagic, and I've loved the colours and loved working with them, so I've stayed with those. But the properties of the inks is that they're a pigment ink with chalk in it. So they give a really soft fresco type look. Great for backgrounds, great for multi-layered stamping. Because they're a pigment ink, so they're slower drying, you can emboss with them and you can do special effects with them. So they're just a really versatile ink pad.
Yeah, because I hadn't realised, because you wouldn't normally emboss with the other brand of chalk inks.
No, but the Versamagic you can. So you would just use a clear powder over and you would see whatever colour ink you'd stamped with. I don't emboss them, it's just that you can. I'm usually too busy creating background effects instead.
Yes, which you are so well known for.
I know, getting messy, yes.
Excellent. Okay,
All right, so should we have a play?
Yeah, excellent. Well, we'll let you get set up and we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
Now, as Cathy said, we did have a Getting to Know Your Ink segment a few weeks ago, and we can make sure we link to that in the video below. And like we said, we're really having some few technical difficulties today, so if we do disappear, please hold on and we'll do our very best to get Cathy back from the wilderness that is Ballarat. So it looks like she's ready to go. You ready to go, Cathy? Okay, I will hand it back over to you. You have the screen.
I have the screen, thank you. So this is our Versamagics come in two different sizes. You've got the dewdrop size, which is the normal one that I stock because it's a very good little ink pad, and it's easier for people to build up a range of colours when they can purchase the smaller size. We can also get stock, though, of the bigger size if people prefer that. I like to work with the bigger pads, but these ones are very, very convenient. So what I'm going to do, one of the great things with chalk inks, which I'll show first, is that you can stamp part of your stamp and it still looks good. With a dye ink, if you don't ink the stamp completely, you get lines and it looks really obvious. But with something like this, I can actually ink, I don't know whether you can see that, but I'm just inking around the edge of the stamp.
Yep, we can see that clearly, Cathy.
And now when I stamp that onto my page, I get a really soft, you can tell I haven't cleaned my stamp after I was experimenting with it. You get this really soft faded edge to it. Now, you don't get that with a dye ink usually. So that's a really nice thing. And you can also do several colours on your stamp. So I'm going to be good and actually clean this before I use my next ink colour. So this time I'll ink up with the Sage ink, which is a lovely soft green. And I'm going to this time ink the whole stamp. So let's just tap it on. Now, being a pigment ink pad, it's also, you can see if you look across it, a very soft foam pad. So the last thing you want to do is to get your stamp and smush it into the pad because you'll end up with ink absolutely everywhere. So it's just a tap, and that'll give you plenty of coverage. If you want more coverage, just do more taps. But don't ever press the stamp and don't get your ink pad and smush it like that. You just end up wasting your ink, and you end up getting ink where you don't want it, which is like on the backing area of the stamp. Now I'm grabbing the Spanish Olive, which is a darker stamp, a darker ink pad, and just going around the edge. And this will give us a two-toned image. Let's grab out a little bit of scrap paper again. Press down. How cool is that? Just with just inking on one without having to stamp it twice, just within the one stamping by inking it with the two ink colours. And it's a lovely graduated effect without having to do any extra blending on it. So I love it for that. Now, some of the other cool effects you can get is you can do what we call kiss technique. And this is where I'm going to actually get another bit of cardstock. I'm going to use our pear set, our large pears, and I'll just show you a picture of those. That's the large pears. So you've got a solid image and an outline.
Actually,
so what
Cathy,
I'm going to do
we can see them the same way that you're seeing them. So the package, you could turn that around. Excellent. And just a bit to your left.
Bit to my left that way.
That's it. Excellent.
Beautiful. Right, so let's ink this up in a mid-tone green. So I'll use tea leaves. They've got great colours that coordinate beautifully together. And you usually find that there's three colours in a set. Like you'll have a soft turquoise, a medium turquoise, and a darker turquoise. And the same with your greens and your purples. So you can layer them up together and you know those colours are going to work really well together. So that's got that nice and well inked. Now I grab a stamp. This is my Sketch Swirl stamp. So it's just a clean, uninked stamp. And I'm going to lay it on that one. I'll move over a bit to make sure you can really see. Lay it on and just give a twist, a slight twist. This side, make sure you can see what I'm doing. Bit of a twist. And now I'm going to stamp that down. And that beautiful pattern that I just put in with the Sketch Swirl stamp, there. I don't know whether you can see that. I might have needed to use a little bit darker colour.
Yeah, we can just see it.
Just see it. Let's have another go at that. I'm going to flip it over because card always has two sides.
Card does have two sides.
So let's try. We'll go with. Now I'm going over colours. I'm going to go with to make it really obvious, we'll go with the Spanish Olive again. Now, these ink pads, you can buy re-inkers for them, and most of mine have been re-inked reasonably recently, but that one that I last used might not have been, which is why it didn't come out quite as vivid as we would have liked. Let's just do our pattern into there. A little bit down this side. Bit of stamp. Nice press down. Again, being a pigment ink, make sure you leave it sit there for a minute so it really takes to the card. That's better. Now we've got a really good image for you.
Yes, we can see that clearly.
So that's by taking, because it's a slow drying ink, you can lift that colour off. Then I will change to my outline stamp and we'll switch to a darker colour. So I'll pick Jumbo Java, which is a fantastic brown. Now, again, we don't want to over ink. We don't want to get ink on all this backing area. When you're working with clear stamps, you really want to keep this area as unstained as possible because that way you can see where you're stamping. So when we're inking up, we really just want to tap across. If you think you're not sure whether you've inked enough, stamp it on your scrap and then you get an idea, okay, I did need to go a bit more. Sorry, Michelle, I'm trying to remember to slow down with talking because I know I tend to talk.
No, you're doing fine. The internet gods are shining on us today.
Oh, beautiful.
For now, touch wood.
Touch wood. Yeah, don't speak too soon. Now, with my designs that I make with the 2 layers, I make the outlines quite sketchy. So if you don't line it up exactly, it does not matter. See, that's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Now, the other thing that you can do with these chalk inks for backgrounds, my splatter stamp has been designed to go with the chalk inks. So it's got a more solid area of splatter and a more open area of splatter. And how this works is if we use this solid end and use it with a really soft colour, and I'm going to choose that straw, and we're going to ink up that end, and I'm going to stamp from the edge of the card and then come in. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around the card, edge of the card and come in, and then we'll stop and let you see what we're creating. In fact, I'll just go down the one side to save time. So can you see it's given us a mottly look along the edge there?
Oh, we can just see that colour. Hang on, let me see if I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Yes, we can just see that grey, that yellow along the side.
Add a little bit more of it, and then I'll bring it in closer to the pair so you can see a bit more. Okay, how's that? Now that we've added a bit more in there.
Yes, that's much clearer.
Okay, now if I come in with something a little bit darker, so I'm going to choose a bit of sage. This time not come in quite as far. So I've come in closer to the pear with that straw, and the sage I've kept it more to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping on the top corner you can really see where that's working.
Yeah, we
now,
can.
I'll grab the Spanish olive. Again, possibly the chalk inks weren't a great thing to show via this sort of a technique where you can't do real close-ups because they are soft, fresco-y looking inks. They're harder to see, aren't they?
But that's okay. We can still see the detail, and yeah, the camera is and the internet is catching up just fine.
I'm not sure at what stage you lost me, but I was just adding in the more open splatter with a darker colour. So you can probably see that picking up there. And then, of course, we could grab one of my wonderful brushes and pick up some of that same Spanish olive. So just inking the end of the brush and then doing a little bit of smudging around. Always just ink the end of the brush because it gives you more control over over the blending that you get from the brush. I think that's the best way to describe it. If you ink up sort of all over the brush, you've got no clean bristles to help with your blending.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so these really do lend themselves for layering and blending.
Yeah. And then if we want to go another shade darker, get your ink pad. No, never ink the edge of your card by going straight across an ink pad because like your fingers, you can give your ink pad paper cuts. Not all of them, but I have done it. So I tend to go on a bit of an angle. Like that. And that'll give us that last little layer, can you see on the white background, that last little layer of depth. And so even though that straw looks so soft to start with that we can hardly see it, now when we look at the effect, we've got this real graduation of soft colours going out to deeper colours on the outside of the card. So that splatter stamp was really designed to work with these soft inks. I mean, you can use it with other inks as well, but I wanted something to create that sort of a background effect with the chalk inks.
Yeah. So, Cathy, could you just show us the packet of that splatter stamp again, just so we can get our head around? So, yeah, if you just hold it still for a minute. So it's got small dots and then more smudge dots as well.
Yep. It's one of my crazy stamps that unless you've been shown what to do with it, you would look at that in the packet and go, oh, that doesn't make sense. Now I've got another one. My next demo is going to be with another of these stamps where you look at it and go, what is that? And that's one of our petal set stamps.
Ah.
So this is a small one. We have petal set small and petal set just normal. And what they've got in them is they've got petals. I'll show them on the actual stamp so you can see them rather than in the packet where it's all reflecting.
Ah, so they're individual.
Petals, and we've got a solid one, which I think I've already got loaded on a block ready to go, and then I buried it. A solid one, an outline, so if you wanted to emboss an edge, you could. And then we've got 4 different patterns. So how this works...
Cathy, you are so clever.
Well, I wanted to be able to, I like stamps that you can use in different ways. I like to be able to get variation with them. So that's what I designed stamps for, what I want to be able to do with them. And I'd seen some beautiful flower stamps with patterns, but I thought, but what if I don't want that pattern every time? What if I don't want just 5 petals all the time? What if I want to do 8 petals with my flowers? So by doing it all individually, it also means that you can make your flower bigger or smaller depending on how much you spread your petals out.
Mm.
So this time I've just inked. I don't know whether you noticed, I sort of rolled the stamp around the ink pad so that we get a very soft image there. I don't know if it's easiest to turn my card around or try and stamp upside down. So you can see I'm leaving a bit of a blank square in the middle. Mm-hmm. Is that better without glaring light on it?
Ooh, it's very hard to see. Oh, yep, we can just see it. Just hold it still and I'll zoom in a bit and we'll see if that will... Oh, it's just picking up. You can just see that outline.
Is that, if Matthew moves out of the direct light, is it better? We're just worried it's too glary.
Yeah, I think that without the sun's a bit clearer.
Okay. So this time I'm inking the stamp thoroughly, and I'm going to come in a little bit more towards the middle and stamp another layer of petals. So you can make this flower be whatever you like. You can also, it was designed to go with, there was a daisy punch put out by EK Success, and I think Stamping Up had one as well and had various sizes. So this was made that you could actually punch your flowers out and stamp them. But you can also use it, Paper Rose has their poinsettia dies, so you can use it with those. So you can actually die cut your flowers and then stamp them with these stamps. Now, what colour am I going to go for? Let's go with Spring Pansy. So we're going to go pinks through to mauves. And I'm going to change to a pattern version. So that was the solid. Now we're going to pick up the dotty pattern. You probably can't see it much there. Let me just stamp it onto my scrap paper and you'll be able to see what the design looks like. There we go.
Ah, yes, we can see that.
So now we just want to do that over the top of each of our other petals. Now I'm going to go quite quickly because I don't want to hold us up too long, which means I may or may not get them lined up exact, and you'll see how little that matters.
Yeah, it's nice to have something that's a bit more robust, so you don't have to fuss too much about lining things up. You still get the overall impression.
It's still going to look superb. Okay, and then we could just put a little gem or something in the middle, or some liquid pearls or something like that. But we could also do something 3D with this one. So let me just grab another bit of card, and I'm going to go back to the solid stamp. And we're going to go straight in with the Spring Pansy. And this time I'm going to be quite overlapping of my petals. But see, again, I'm not stressing about how well that base stamp's inked because I really like that look with it being a little bit almost smoky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone just said the daisy is a very versatile stamp. Ah, that might you've already got it. Yay.
Yes, that was Marilyn.
Matthew's trying to, as well as block the light, he's trying to show me some of the comments as well.
Oh, he's doing a wonderful job. And the little one's quiet. That's amazing.
Well, this one is in Matthew's arms, sound asleep. For anyone watching, we have our grandson with us today who's just turned 5 months. And he's just adorable, and he's wearing a Winnie the Pooh suit, and he's fallen sound asleep for us, which is beautiful timing.
I think we could all do with an afternoon nap today.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Now, I've put in one of the pattern stamps. So there's 4 different patterns, one script, and then there's 2 swirly ones. And this is, I'll again stamp it on the white so you can see. So this is swirls with some dots. Actually, let me stamp out the others and show you all 4 patterns. It's a bit hard to see them just on the stamps. So that's the straight swirl. And then we've got the script one as well. So you can use them all together, or you could just have just script. Or I tend to go maybe the script and the swirl, or the dots and the dotty swirls. But it's totally up to you which ones you want to put together. Now we're going to just go over the top of these without dotty swirl. Now, if I was doing this with and use it with my punches or with my die cuts, I would probably die cut a little flower to put in the middle to cover up that bit in the middle where everything's overlapping. But you could just put some pearls or something there. I'm trying to see what I've already got on the table that I don't think I've got anything organised for that. Okay, let's now just quickly grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to cut that out because I don't want to head off to the die cutting machine. I did have plans to actually pre-die cut a few flowers to do this with, and then we're too busy trying to get lunch into Grayson.
And when we had Rachel Grigg on, she suggested that you do this sort of thing, you know, sort of almost outside your crafting time. So you could do the stamping and fussy cutting in front of the tally, and then you've got them ready to go.
Yeah. That's a great one for that because it's so easy to do. And yeah, but you could have a look at different, and anything that's got sort of flowers with pointy petals, you can probably colour it with this. Now we can also, so if we're going to, wanting it to look a little bit 3D, we can actually pull that out of there. What have I got handy? I've got a straw.
Oh. Okay, it looks like we might have just lost Cathy again. Oh no, we've got her back. Excellent.
I was getting a phone call.
Yes, I saw that. That's okay, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. So I've just given all those petals a roll around that. And now when I get my other card that we made before, we would layer that on and stick that down, just offsetting those petals a bit.
Oh.
And you've got this gorgeous flower. And, of course, I haven't even got any double-sided tape within reach. But you could just see, let me just hold that down.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, lay it on there, and then with some glitter or pearls or something in the middle, or punch a little flower or die cut a flower out of glitter paper or something and stick it in the middle. And then we would create a nice soft border similar to what we did with the pear, something like that to go around it. So that's a flower, that's a pear and a flower showing a little bit of the layering. But now I want to use an ultra new flower and show you one more effect with it. Now this is one where I was a good girl and die cut my flower first. And I've even opened up the packet so that I'm not making too many rattly sounds. So let's pull a few stamps off blocks and get stamped onto blocks. This is where, of course, if you've got just don't want to stop to bring it into view. If you've got a stamping platform or a MISTI, when you're doing the ultra new layered flowers, this is really good for those because you can line things up so easily in them. But I want to show you, if we use something like, let's switch to maybe blues or something with this, or aquas. What have I got here? Apart from putting my arm right in front of the camera. Okay, so I'm going to do our first inking with Sea Breeze, which is a lovely turquoisey colour. And just tap across that image there. Pop it over where we've got our die cut. And hope that I've lined, oh, I don't think I've lined that up at all well. Never mind. I can live with that though.
Drop shadow.
Oh, did you hear Matthew?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Very forgiving. Okay, now I'll pick the next layer. And this time I'm going to ink it up with the same ink. So this is where, if you're looking at a layered flower that's got 4 layers to it, and you think, but, you know, I've only got 2 or 3 colours. If you stamp over the same colour, the next layer will automatically come out a little bit darker. And that's one of the beautiful things about these inks as well. No idea where I am. Here we go. Now, can you see that?
Just let it sit for a moment, and I think, yeah, we can sort of just see it. Yes, we can.
Hold it closer to the camera. That bring it as a close-up.
Yeah, and then just hold it still, and hopefully, yes, now the internet's caught up so we can see it quite clearly.
So that's just using one colour.
Mm-hmm.
But stamping it a second time with the same colour. Then, of course, we can switch to a deeper colour. Oh, Matthew's showing me the close-up. Excellent. Now, this one's quite strong. I'm just going to test it on a scrap. No, that's going to look fabulous. Okay, we'll go straight with this. Because what I could do, if I was worried that the next colour was too strong, I could stamp it on my scrap and then stamp it on there, and it would give the second generation inking would give it a little bit softer look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm actually not stopping to look at where, with Ultra New Stamps, they do have a guide on the back of the packet that shows you where to line the stamps up to get them really lined up well. I'm just stamping and hoping it's okay. Because I don't want to get my head in shot trying to look really closely to get it lined up properly. So now we'll go for our third colour, which is the Ocean Depths. Ink up the outline version. I must admit, I would normally do this on the card and then die cut it after I've stamped it. It's quite nerve-wracking, I find, stamping over something you've already die cut. That's come up pretty well.
That's
now,
so pretty.
That up close again.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So just, that was 3 colours and 4 layers of stamps.
Yeah, that's right. So that just shows how you can use, because of the properties of the chalk inks, how you don't have to have 4 colours to get that 4 colour effect. Now let's look at a background for that. So we could do some stamp the leaves in there, or I could go back to that original little square. Now that square stamp that I was using, let me just reach over here. The square stamp that I used to start with to do samples was actually out of our quilt element set. Oh. So you can see it's got a large square and a small one and the triangles. So I'm just using the large square out of that. And let's go back to some greens and browns. And I'm going to ink up on two colours. And we're just going to do a soft inking. So this time I'm inking up a little bit on the sage And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Sahara sand on it. And this time we'll go a little bit more. This time we're going to go straight with Sahara sand. And you'll see how it comes up darker where you overlap the colours. Now let's go sage again. I don't know if you can tell, I'm just totally making this up as I'm going along now.
Which is the best part.
I had a vague plan for today, and then I kept changing my mind and thinking, oh, but I could do this and I could do that, and all got totally carried away. I think we need another sage one off the end there. So just creating a little bit of a geometric feel to it. Let's bring some of that sketch swirl in that we used before.
That's a fantastic scroll stamp, Cathy.
I do love this one. It was one of my earliest stamps, and yeah, it's a really versatile one. So I'm just picturing where we might pop that over the top. I'm not at all sure about my colours that I've chosen for this one, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. Let's give ourselves now. When I did the edging on the pear card, I was just going right at the edge. This time, rather than smearing on with a brush first, I'm actually going to smear more of the ink pad onto the card. So instead of just doing the edge, I'm actually letting a lot of the ink pad come over the edge of the card. So you can see we're getting more smearing on. We've got a little smiley boy who's just woken up.
Oh, I can hear that.
Eyes wide open, and thumbs heading for his mouth, but it's actually going into his eyes instead. He's not very coordinated.
Oh, that's very cute.
He is absolutely gorgeous. And we're just going to go back to our, I think I need to add some more of the turquoisey colours in there. So let's go back to our Ultra New stamp set that we're using. The one I'm using today is called Coral Charm. And I'm going to grab an acrylic block. Let's get out. Now, let's work out where we're going to put this flower. We'll pop it in there. What do you think? Should we go turquoise with our leaves, or should we go stick with greens?
Oh, I reckon go back to the turquoise.
Yeah. I mean, if we don't like it, we can always make another one later.
Yeah, and you can never have too much turquoise.
No, turquoise is good. Okay, so I'm going to want something out that side and something out that side. So I'll grab the solid one, grab our softer colour. Now, the leaves are just 3 layers. Some leaves out that side. Some leaves out this side. So I think what we'll do from today as well, as a bit of a special for anyone who's watching today, just for the next, let's say from now until the end of the weekend, we might do a bit of a special on the stamps that I've used today.
Oh, excellent.
So anything from the quilt elements, the pears, the splatter, the petal sets, we'll do a discount on those. Give me about half an hour after we finish today to go and activate that on the website.
Okay.
And they'll come up with a sale sign on them, the ones that we put on sale. So anything that I've used today, including this Coral Charm set from Ultra New, I'll pop a discount on those if anyone wants to do some shopping.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
I think that's for our P2PCrafts watches.
Excellent. And we'll have links to those on the Picture to Page website as well with the replay of this video, so you can watch and shop at the same time.
That's luxury.
The wonders of technology.
Aren't we all getting swishy with it?
I think we're all getting very coddled.
just getting over it. Now, we're just going to put a sentiment. So this sentiment comes in the same set. So I'll ink this with the darker colour. So this will show you how clear these stamps are. Because a lot of ink pads that you use for backgrounds aren't so good for actually stamping images. But you can see with that outline of the flower how it does get all the fine details. And let's have a look when we stamp some words in there, how we also can get a really good image. So these ink pads, the only thing that they don't do is they don't do bold and bright, which is what your normal dye inks do. But when you're wanting soft colours, but you're wanting something that you can stamp with, you can emboss with, let's flip this over so you've got a nice plain background without a whole lot of smudging in. You can stamp them, you can emboss them, you can do backgrounds, you can stamp your text. I mean, there's not much you can't do with them. They're, as I said, the only thing you can't do is bold and bright because they're going to give that lovely soft look.
Yeah.
But how easy for your backgrounds, and let's bring the pear back in again so again you can have another look at the backgrounds. How easy is it with that soft ink to build up a beautiful background?
Just gorgeous. Now, what was the name of that Ultra New set that you've been using?
Oh, the Ultra New set was Coral Charm.
Right.
And let's show you a picture of that.
Around the other way, please.
There
There we go. We're looking over your shoulder. Excellent. So it comes with the 4 layers of flower, the 3 layers of leaves plus the sentiment.
And a few little outline flowers as well that you can use in your background. It's got 2 sentiments. What does the second one say? What does the second one say? If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone.
Oh, that's lovely.
So it's got a couple of, but I really do like the happiness is coming your way. I think that's a lovely saying. Now this one is a build a flower set, which means that it comes with the matching dies.
As well. Oh, wow.
You can't actually buy them individually. It only comes as a set with the stamps and the dies.
Yeah. Oh, well, you'd want all of them, definitely.
Oh, yeah. So that gives us a little bit of playtime. Now, the other thing that I do a lot with chalk inks, which we're hoping to do a YouTube clip of this soon, and that's what we did as a class at the Sandown Picture to Page last year, and that's using our lovely ladies' faces with and using the chalk inks to build up their skin tone and hair tone. And the joy of using your chalk inks, one thing I haven't mentioned with them, is they dry to a waterproof finish, which means if I build up my basic lady's skin colour with the chalk inks, once that's dried, which doesn't take too long, I can then watercolour over the top of it and the base colours aren't going to move. So we can actually come in and do a watercolour background around this pear and everything that we've stamped will just stay there. So that's another beautiful feature of them is that they dry waterproof so that then you can watercolour over the top of them.
Ah, that's certainly good to know. Excellent.
And it works beautifully for the ladies' faces.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a minute to turn your camera back around.
Okay.
So excellent. Isn't it just, again, it's amazing to just go back and see some of that stamping at that level. And I think what it really iterates is that Cathy at Eclectic Images has some really clever stamps, and that just gives you that leeway to do the layers, to do the outlines, and then to build it up. And using those inks really does allow you to build the colours and then not have to have one of every colour, but enough to then be able to build up the layers and know as you stamp over it, it then gives you that image, and then it slowly comes darker as well. So that looks good. Okay, we've got you back.
Got both of us?
We have got both of you. So what's the little one's name?
Grayson.
Oh, Grayson, we're so pleased to have you here on P2PCrafts Presents.
So I'm sure Grayson will be a stamper as well.
Oh, I don't think you'll have a choice.
Won't have a choice, no. He'll be getting into paints and inks as soon as he can manage to control his hands.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, we don't want them in his eyes. That would be bad.
No, he's not quite ready for it yet.
Excellent. Well, Cathy, thank you so much for showing us chalk inks again. I think for those that already have them, it's a chance to get them out and explore with them again. And of course, it just gives you, like I said, that really subtle palette. But I love the idea of revisiting your sand down class so that those who did it and then can't quite remember how to do it have a chance to go back over it again as well.
Yep. And I think more people need to see how to use our beautiful ladies. So we'll get that done and maybe talk about that at the next P2P Presents.
One, yes. Well, yes, we probably will need a season 3 because we're not heading to Geelong in July, unfortunately. But we're kind of quietly optimistic about October, though we're not quite sure what a show might look like, but we will see.
That will be great. It'd be lovely to see everyone again. But I do appreciate with the virtual shows that we're doing is that we can reach out to people who might not be able to get to some of the shows. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it's lovely that we're doing these.
Yeah, that's really good. And Grayson thinks so too. Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thanks everyone for watching.
Excellent. Thanks, Cathy. Excellent, everyone. Now, thank you so much for your patience through our technical difficulties. We hope you really learnt something there with using some different stamps that you may have, or, of course, a chance to visit eclecticimages.com.au and get some beautiful stamps for yourself. So, as we said, head over to the From Picture to Page website, which is from picture to page and beyond.com.au, and there you'll be able to see the replay of the video, get the links to all the stamps that Cathy mentioned, and, check out that special that'll be there until Sunday. So this is Michelle Brown signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.